Tales.
Welcome, kids! I knew you'll be here soon. Today, I'm going to tell you the story of John. John Nereus was the younger son of Zebedee and Salome, and the younger brother of James the elder, who was also a disciple of Jesus. John was one of the most beloved disciples of Jesus, and like his elder brother, he too was a fisherman. John lived with his family in Bethsaida and Capernaum and later in Jerusalem. He went around the world preaching his master's doctrines and also went and preached in the churches of Asia Minor. After John became a disciple to Jesus, he wrote the Gospels of John 1, John 2, John 3, and Revelations. Once, John was banished to the Isle of Patmos as a prisoner for preaching in the name of Jesus. Later, he was freed and he eventually died due to old age. John was not only a man of action, but he was also very ambitious and held no tolerance for unfair or selfish people. John was very close to another disciple named Peter, and they would often be sent together for ministry work. But it was John who always stood out and acted as the spokesperson of the band. As years went by, old age caught up with him, and he soon forgot all about his ambition. All he remembered was the Lord's command of love. John once wanted to take his own life by drinking poison from a chalice. But the Lord spared his life for all the good deeds he had done all his life. He finally died of natural causes, and the chalice with the snake became his apostolic symbol. That was the story of John. I hope you children enjoyed it.
Oh, yes, we sure did.
The Holy Tales.
Today I'll tell you the story of Peter.
Peter? The one who denied Jesus?
Yes, come on, let's hear his story. Simon Peter was the son of Jonas, the fisherman. He lived in Bethsaida and Capernaum and grew up to become a fisherman just like his father. He is known for doing massive missionary work and for going as far as Babylon to spread Jesus' words to the people. In the latter years of his life, he also wrote down 2 epistles of the New Testament. In all apostolic lists all over the world, Peter's name is mentioned first. However, he had many different names in other languages also. Peter's Greek name was Simon, and his Hebrew name was Cephas, which both meant rock. Peter lived in Capernaum with his wife, and every time Jesus went there, he would make Peter's home his headquarters. Peter was a Galilean too, like almost all the other disciples of Jesus. Among the 12 disciples, Peter was the leader. He was known to be the spokesman for all the 12 apostles. Peter always asked the most difficult and challenging questions to Jesus. It was Peter who asked how often one must forgive. He also wanted to know about the rewards of following Jesus. He was the one who confessed and declared that Jesus was the Son of the living God. Yet, it was he who denied Jesus before a maiden. Peter had many faults, but his saving grace was his loving heart. When it was decided that Peter was to be martyred on a cross, he requested to be crucified with his head downward, as he believed he was not worthy of dying the same way as his Lord had died. And hence, his apostolic symbol is a cross upside down with crossed keys. So, did you enjoy the story?
Yes, We did.
The Holy Tales.
Today I'm going to tell you the story about Jesus' last and final disciple, Thomas Didymus.
Us?
It's Thomas Didymus, Tubby. Thomas Didymus was one of the lesser-known disciples of Jesus. He lived in Galilee and went to preach Jesus' words in Parthia, Persia, and India, and probably received death as a martyr near Madras at Mount St. Thomas in India. Thomas was his Hebrew name and Didymus his Greek name. At times, he was also called Judas. The Bible does not tell us much about Thomas except his name. However, John in his Gospel defines him more clearly as being present in the raising of Lazarus in the upper room. He wanted to see nail prints in Jesus' hand and also the spear scar in his side to believe in him. Soon, he was known as the Doubting Thomas. Thomas had a bewildered and confused mind, and yet he was brave and courageous. Since he was a pessimistic man, he believed only in things which he could see. However, he had immense faith and was a devoted man. When Jesus rose from death, he came and invited Thomas to put his finger in the nail prints in his hand and in his side. It is here we see Thomas making the greatest confession of faith, and Thomas's doubts transformed into faith. In India, Thomas was commissioned to build a palace for the King of India, where he was martyred to death with a spear for his Lord. His apostolic sign is a bunch of spears, stones, and arrows. So, did you like the story?
Oh, yes. It was wonderful. We loved it.
I hope you enjoyed the story as much as these kids did. We'll be back soon, so stay tuned.
To watch more videos, please subscribe.
Plants and trees. On the fourth day, God created the sun to shine in the day, the moon and stars to come out at night. One day, Moses went to Mount Horeb with his sheep. There, God appeared to him as a flame of fire in a bush. Since there was no room anywhere else, they decided to spend the night in a stable. Here, Mary had her baby, Jesus. She wrapped him in a blanket and put him to sleep.
He's got the whole